Hi, this is Christy with Vegan Food for Thought, and today we're going to be focusing on the thought part of my title instead of the food part. Normally my channel is all food-based, but today it's not. um, so anyways, I recently read an article about Bruce Lipton, and he's one of my favorite authors. I've read every single one of his books. And basically, what this article was talking about was that we have a lot of subconscious thoughts and beliefs, and they get in the way of our healing. A lot of times we focus on diet, exercise, sleep, and everything else, but we forget our mind and how much that has to do with healing. There are even people that have healed just based off of believing that they would. So it's really an important part of our lives and an important part of our body to tap into, because it's really amazing what our thoughts can accomplish and what we can do just by thinking differently. And I was more science-based before reading his work. I really didn't believe in a lot of this stuff, but I started just practicing it and trying it out and being aware of my thoughts, and it really can make a difference. It did in my life, and I know that it does in a lot of other people's lives. So what his main book says is it's called The Biology of Belief, and what it says is that we want to turn our subconscious thoughts into conscious thoughts. And so just being aware of our thoughts first is the very first step. So witnessing our thoughts like waves in the ocean, just, watching and being an observer and not necessarily judging ourselves. Because I know once I read about all this, I started judging myself and thinking, well, why am I being so negative? And starting to get negative, on myself and getting mad at myself for thinking these thoughts, when in reality, these could be thoughts that were placed in our heads, before, or even thoughts that our grandparents had. So there's no point in getting upset about it. And once we realize that these are subconscious thoughts, these are things that are not in our control. And so we can't get mad at ourselves over it. So I started doing that, and I started just becoming aware of the negative thoughts that I would have. And specifically, when I was in yoga, that really helped. It helped my yoga practice to notice when I started thinking things like, I hate this person, I hate this, I hate that, I don't like this posture. When I started thinking that, I would just witness it and realize, how negative that was and how not helpful it was to my practice and how I felt. And so from there, they say to replace those negative thoughts with a positive one. And so I just chose something really generic that was actually recommended on the line. It was, I love myself and everyone around me. And I started just thinking that in my head, and replacing that negative thought with that one. And at first I thought it was really stupid and I didn't believe it at all. I just did it to, just to see what would happen. And for the first year, I really just was, I was thinking that and not believing it. But by the second year, I really did start to believe it. I started actually thinking that I did love myself and everyone around me, just without even prompting myself to. So at that point, that thought had become a subconscious thought instead of a conscious one even. And to this day, I still find myself thinking that and feeling that. And it's been 7 years later, and I don't even consciously make myself think that anymore, but I still find myself feeling that way or thinking that way. So it does have an impact, and I believe it's helped me a lot, like in my yoga practice and just in how I feel day to day and what I'm thinking. So that is the first thing that they recommend doing. The second thing they recommend doing is meditating and using a mantra as a form of meditation, but they recommend like doing the sitting still meditating, finding a comfortable place, and just envisioning a white light going throughout the body and healing every part of it, and just really focusing on that for as much time as you have basically in the day. I haven't practiced this one a lot, but this is another reason why I'm making this video, is just to make a reminder for myself to do this practice and just to see what happens with it. It's not like it's going to hurt anything, So there's that. And then the third thing is to be grateful. And to do that, I like to write down a list, because meditating isn't really my favorite thing to do. Sometimes I feel like I don't have the time to, and when I don't, I just write a list. And so I just write a list of everything I'm grateful for, because there's always something to be grateful for. Even, in the worst parts of my life, I always had things that were grounding to me and that got me through to the next part. Because I know we're all going through transitions and changes, and it's hard. And it can be difficult, but those things can be what really gets us through to the next part and to something better. So I like to focus on, what makes me happy, what I'm grateful for, specifically, like my friends and family and my dog and meteor showers that are happening this month. And, there's always something fun and things that are going on. And I also like to meditate on those things when I have the time, and just to think, how to focus on that feeling of thankfulness, and how it makes me feel, because I really, really do enjoy that feeling, and just knowing that there's always, something good out there is definitely helpful. And I hope that helps anyone out there that, that might need something like that. Post any questions or comments down below. I'll make sure to link all of Bruce Lipton's information. He also does videos. He's available online. And his books have been really, really helpful for me, just to focus on, something that's not as science-based. But anyways, just let me know if you have any questions. It's really, it's simple stuff, but for some people it can be quicker than others, but it does take a while to make changes in the way that we think, especially when they're not conscious. But being aware of it is the first part, and then the second part would be just not to judge ourselves and to not worry about it either, because that's just a part of being human, is, having thoughts and being alive and experiencing life and going through traumas and things. And this is just one way that we can heal those, and to think differently and in a way that doesn't, get in our way or prevent us from healing. So anyways, I think that's where I'm gonna wrap this up, and I hope everybody out there is having a beautiful day.